Okay, the next presentation is a delegation from Ribbons of Green. Mr. Mall, welcome. The podium is yours.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. My name is Bruce Moll. I'm a director of the Ribbons of Green Trail Society. We're trail advocates. We're also the moving force behind the designation for Trails Capital of British Columbia. We are interested in active transportation. We're a trail society, but we're also looking at interurban trails. We know that we have to adapt to some of the changes in climate and transportation styles, lifestyles. We're getting more people in Vernon all the time. And we hope to be part of reducing the barriers, preventing travel by foot, bike, e-bike, and those cute little scooters we see all over town. I want to take a step back to 2010 when the City of Vernon brought walkability, livability person to town, Dan Burden, and he had a little walk around, talk to city staff, also people from the community, and he made a presentation at the Schubert Center that suggested, this is just a little summary, 5 words, designed for seniors and children, and you'll get an excellent city, well-designed, people can move around. So I have something for you to think about. How would a teen from Middleton, or even a senior from Middleton Mountain, go directly to the music school on East Hill? Now, if you think about that for a sec, you'll probably realize that there is no direct and no particularly safe way to get to the music school from Middleton. And so I ask you also to consider, how would a teen on East Hill get to the Galaxy Cinemas? Well, you can't shake this one off. There's no real good safe way to get to the Galaxy Cinemas from just about any part of town. So we've done some really great things, and we have a few things lacking, but we have some opportunities coming. We have a new active living center coming on at the Kin Racetrack site. We already know we're going to have to work on 43rd, and we know we have to work on Alexis Park Drive. But I also want you to consider that we have to get people from Middleton, East Hill, Blue Jay, South Vernon, I forgot Predator Ridge. We want to get people from Predator Ridge too, easily into Vernon. Times are changing, so we have to change too. There was a time when cars were slower and people were slower, people were nicer perhaps. Yeah, I think we feel the population pressure in town over the last few years. But we've had some really great results earlier this year. Bottom point there, 449 people signed up as the first time for Go by Bike. So we have interested people who want to ride and walk and use their micro-mobility. So that's really great to see, and we're almost back at pre-COVID levels. I took a few diagrams from an existing document we have here. We knew 10 years ago when this document was finalized, the 25-year Master Transportation Plan, that the aim was to create a multimodal environment that balances the needs and desires of all users. And I think the last time I made a council presentation, it was about that interested and concerned cyclists, 60%. We did a little survey in town, and it pretty much matched other research from around the province. The outcome is that there's a lot of people who are interested if it's a safe thing to do. And if we want to get people on foot, on bike, using the scooters, then we have to provide a connected network by constructing separate facilities and bike corridors. I have bike corridors there, but it's really active transportation corridors that I think is the most important. There's a lot of really great research. This is something out of UBC, a recent document, and it compares high preference, so asking people, compared to what is safe. And I'm just going to look at that green highlighted area at the top there, and I'll read that little bit to you because you might not be able to see it, but residential streets that have been traffic calmed, and we have that on 25th Street. We have some really nice bike route there. We have a nice cycle track on 25th Avenue is also a very good example. So there are some key facilities already built, and they're very popular. We just have to connect them. More research. I know the city has worked with the BC Healthy Community Society Plan H, and they do a lot of British Columbia research. To summarize their research, they really suggest that if you're going to go into active transportation to deal with your emissions and just get people healthier, that you build a separated route network with safe crossings. When I think of safe crossings, I think of our highways that come into town, and it's a bit of a pinch point for active transportation. Lots more research, so I could probably stand up here and do quite a summary. But I wanted to bring two things to attention. This particularly protected and separated bike facilities, just about all the current research is showing from across North America and Europe too, that they have to be protected and separated for that 60% of our population to get on their bike or walk or micromobility. And then I wanted to bring your attention to the bottom one. Bicycle lanes, not statistically different from no cycling facility. And this is just in case we're thinking that we can paint a white line on a roadway and say, we've done a darn good job, we'll count that as measurable meters. But it's not effective, it doesn't encourage people to ride, and it's no safer than not having something there too. So these are just factors to keep in mind that the research is indicating. Research also indicates that there's health-related benefits, and we've had two really great presentations about health in the community. And if you value health, and you value healthy people, then active transportation is one of the best ways to get people mobile and get them feeling better. So there is that too. I mean, it's economical, but it's also good for your health. So why would you build? So I actually went in and snagged a couple of pages from your strategic plan to to illustrate that you've already actually agreed to do this. So page 6 of your strategic plan says promotion of Trails Capital, and Ribbons of Greens thanks you for that. And if you're going to promote the Trails Capital, then we actually need more intercity trails, so that it's to help you rationalize working on that. And then on page 7, to continue implementing the Climate Action Plan, which is a fantastic document and so great that so many members of the community were involved. The Climate Action Plan says to accelerate the construction of active transportation infrastructure and develop design standards for active transportation networks. So that's in our town. These are great reasons why to build. The Ribbons of Green Trail Society has put together and provided you with a number of pages of maps and tables with approximate distances and rationales. We don't price things, but we certainly have made a prioritized list that you might appreciate. And so I'd encourage you to find the area of town that you live in, find that page, and see what we've recommended for your area of town. I'm just going to remind you that where to build, Dan Burden and a number of people suggest designing for seniors and children. And I have a little video clip. It's about 1.5 minutes long.
You've only scratched the surface, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. What are the next steps? How do you take those steps? So as an example, this is essentially 5 lanes of road. It is a huge amount of physical space, and yet look what we've left for the pedestrian. It is very sad that only 800 cars in the peak hour move up and down this road. That would be 8,000 cars a day. You can carry 8,000 cars in 1 lane. Why do you have 5? And I think that's my point. Don't build things bigger, fatter, wider than you need to in the future.
My name is Jerry Nadeau. I'm a cyclist here in Vernon, and I organized this rally today to try to get people together for a couple of reasons. One was that I wanted to show that there was a lot of support for cycling and transportation alternatives in Vernon. We quite often hear only the people who are unhappy or against cycling and things like that. I wanted to show the City of Vernon, Mayor and Council, and City staff that there are a lot of people who are happy with what they're doing, in providing cycling and walking options for people. I think the 43rd Avenue project is going to be great. And it's quite often portrayed as a bike lane project, but it's not really. It's a road improvement or road upgrade project. You can see here today that we have a whole range of people, from kids right up to seniors. We've got parents here that are concerned about getting their kids to school safely.
So this is from 2011, and think of all the technology changes in transportation since that. There are hundreds of people who are waiting, just waiting, for the ability to ride around town on their old bicycles or their e-bikes or their scooters. And I really think that we've done some really great work, and I think this is just the beginning, and Ribbons of Green thanks you for this opportunity to present to you.
Thank you, Mr. Wall, much appreciated. Comments, questions? Councilor Journey.
So I don't have a question. I just wanted to thank you so much for all your work, and please extend that to your group. Your guys' work in our community is amazing. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Councilor Quaring.
Thank you for your presentation. Great presentation, lots of energy, easy to listen to. Just wondered if on table 4, how much money it would take to change S10, exchange S10 and S1 on the priority list. S10 being East Side Road. I've only been pushing for a bike lane on East Side Road since I started on council 11 years ago. And the little bit of bike lane that we have on East Side Road has speed bumps for the cyclists, for Pete's sake. Anyway, great presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can I make a comment?
Absolutely, go ahead.
I think with the new changes up at Predator and their new egress on East Vernon Road, I think it's more of a reality, an easier pitch for ministry work to, and maybe already I know, to widen that and make it more useful, because you will be able to ride up to Predator from the back way very soon.
Councilor Guy.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Mayor. Just piling on, thanks for your presentation, great presentation, and just wanted to thank you for all the work you've done so far, and great impact that it's had on the community to date. And as you know, obviously, there's more work to be done, and I sure appreciate your commitment to to keeping moving ahead down this path to further improve the trails and the cycling infrastructure. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Councilor Munt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, thanks for this, Bruce. I mean, the city has made a lot of progress, especially over the last 10, 15 years. I don't remember bike lanes ever being here before, but I know the priority a few councils ago was to connect the schools and the ridership between schools, and we've kind of done that. Once the Foothills project is done, then we can start knocking off some of these small projects. And you did hit a little bit on it. It's money and how many of these projects you can get done. It always comes down to money. One will probably make it the next couple of years, and then another one. And that's what it takes. You have to have the money put aside to do these, because they're not easy to do. But thanks for identifying them. And the one, number 10, is never going to get done. Not by the city of Vernon, anyways.
Councilor Garris.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you very much for your presentation. It's interesting to see this all in print. I mean, we either drive past these areas or you end up walking past these areas, and you've probably asked the question yourself, man, is there a safer alternative to what we have? And I know the Middleton Mountain one, we worked on this, God, it must have been 3.5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, and there is a corridor that now goes from Middleton Mountain to VSS. What's actually missing right now is the one from 15th Street to Hillview. If we want to talk about an area that is actually highly dangerous, it is that one. And that corridor is actually used by a lot of individuals, and probably more so now that we have all that construction that's happening up in that area. But yeah, it all comes down to a dollar and cost aspect, but they are things that should be looked at and then put together in a priority sequence to figure out, you know, the safest, or the ones that actually need to be improved dramatically, specifically for youth and yes, for our seniors. But you know, thank you for the work that you and your organization do. I mean, honestly, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be the trails capital of Canada, so or BC. So BC. Maybe that's the next one we need to work on. Anyway, thank you.
Thanks.
So I appreciate the clarity here. I think one of the things for council is that we are on the edge of some of these capital projects. We've seen some significant off-road trail development, separated trail development on 32nd with the reconstruction of the project there. We have a project in our capital plan which upgrades Alexis Park Drive. So these are the times when I think we've really got to bear down and say, okay, are they part of this longer term process to link and connect? That's how we did the one in Decal Lake, went on for years and years and years, and we got the opportunity to do it. We did it. Same thing with the 29th and 30th connection, which was a long process for those who remember it. Somewhat controversial at times, if you have been around Vernon for a while. And the same thing, I think, is probably required as we start to staple in some of these longer term plans. So I do thank you, and thank you for the work, and encourage us to pass this forward to part of our master transportation plan process that's going to get underway later this fall.